Let's now bring in NewsNation legal contributor Jesse Weber. Hello, sir. As always, thanks for joining. To Mills's point, 19 made it from yesterday to round two. I mean, they were grilled on sex and celebrity. Based on what we heard from day one, do we still think the biggest challenge is going to be seating an impartial jury?
I mean, that was always the challenge, but it was pretty much an efficient day. And even if people knew about the Sean Combs case or saw the Cassie Ventura video or even had experience both personally or from a close family member with sexual assault or harassment, it doesn't necessarily exclude them. They made it through the next round despite objections from the defense or the prosecution. Now, as you were hearing from Mills, what happens is they have to get this batch of 45. Easier said than done. We'll see how today goes. But from that 45, then the defense, then the prosecution can use what we call in the law preemptory challenges. They can strike any member of that jury panel for whatever reason they want. They don't need to provide a specific reason. And the goal is to whittle it down to 12 jurors, 6 alternates. But look, you're seeing people who know a lot of the celebrities connected to this case, who maybe have connections to Sean Combs, who maybe there was one potential juror yesterday who said she saw a piece of imagery that she thought was damning evidence.
Yeah.
So you're hoping that these jurors are being honest. And I have to tell you, I have to give them a lot of credit. They were open with a lot of information about their lives, including their past criminal histories. One potential juror admitted to stealing a wand from the Harry Potter store in Universal Studios.
Really? I hadn't heard that tidbit. Okay, that's fascinating. I know you're saying give credit to these jurors who are being honest. How do these teams kind of comb through and decide who might be a stealth juror? Because you imagine a lot of people want to be on this bench. The lights, the camera, the action, you know, they might be diehard Diddy fans. How do you weed those folks out?
It's very, very difficult in every high-profile case because first you have to look at their responses to the questionnaire. During individual questioning, you try to get a gauge of are they being honest or not? Are they being cagey? You know, these are attorneys who all the time deal with witnesses and cross-examination, but also there's a little bit of research. They can look into these jurors, look at their social media accounts. You know, one of the questions these jurors had to ask was, did you comment publicly or like any posts about this case in the last year or so? Mm-hmm. And are they being transparent or not? I mean, one juror yesterday said that they like to post from a comedian referencing all the baby oil. So, you know, they're going to have to do a little research into these people.
The other thing I wanted to ask you that I found fascinating is that Diddy reportedly yesterday asked that judge for a bathroom break, telling the judge, you know, I'm sorry, Your Honor, I'm a little nervous today. Were you surprised that he admitted that? And what do you think that reveals about him ahead of opening statements?
I'm so glad you brought that up. Look, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The fact that we are going to trial in under a year from when a defendant is arrested and indicted at the federal level doesn't happen. But Combs has been pushing towards this trial date. He doesn't want to spend one more day in federal lockup. Having said that, you're now at this case, and the government, this is the Southern District of New York, they don't move forward with the case unless they feel they have the goods. He's looking at not only life in prison, you know, and the maximum charge, but potentially decades in prison. The third charge that he's facing, transportation to engage in prostitution, that can carry 10 years in prison. And some argue that's the most straightforward charge to actually convict him on. So I think he's feeling the weight of what's happening. Jury selection, a panel of his peers coming in to decide his fate. It is real right now for him.
Yeah. And lastly, real quick before I let you go, just to remind folks, this is a federal case, so there are no cameras in the courtroom, right? I mean, we're relying on these sketches every day to paint the picture for us. Which side does that benefit more, Jesse?
So, look, you're asking somebody who wants cameras in the courtroom, so I'm biased. I'll tell you right now. Look, I would say, in a way, it might benefit the prosecution, right? They have a very straightforward case they want to present. It's a very specific case they want to present. And sometimes the argument could be if you have cameras in the courtroom, more people see it. Does it create a performative atmosphere? Can it create undue pressure? You think it might benefit the prosecution, but it's also very, very hard to say. I'm one who believes in the effort of transparency, particularly with a high-profile case like this. I think there should be cameras in every courtroom.
It's garnered so much worldwide attention. Well, we'll see what day two has in store. Jesse Weber, thank you so much. Always good to have you.
Got it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.